as we talked earlier in this week about wanting to do more about hockey equipment, thought it'd be a good time to catch up once again with one of the leaders when it comes to innovation in hockey technology. The great Per Mars joins me now. Per, how are you today? Thanks so much for dropping by.
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
The pleasure is mine. So first of all, tell us about the skate holder right now, the latest ones, the 12s. I want to get to the Brock study, but it is fascinating the way that this technology works, and probably best best that you tell it in your words, because I'm sure I'll misrepresent it, and I don't want to do that. Tell us about the 12s and what you've come up with here.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same technology as used for our off-ice training rollers, flow motion technology that gives you a rocker between the wheels, or between the steel and the boot. So it's a rocker in the chassis that gives you another dimension of movement, that gives you a longer stride, more power, better power transfer, and like you mentioned in the study with Brock University, it gives you a more efficient stride. So the steel stays on the ice longer. It gives you a more natural and energy efficient movement that saves you energy, more power, more speed. Yep.
Tell us about that study at Brock University. Like, what I mean, you've given us the broad strokes of what this has revealed. Give us some of the short strokes. Like, what type of information? If I'm looking to buy a new blade holder, like what type of information did this study give you?
Well, what they were looking at is the skating efficiency of the players, and they were doing it was a couple of different phases. First a treadmill test, and then an on-ice test. And they were looking at how much force the player needed to apply in the skate during a set speed at the treadmill. So they could see that the players used a lot less force to maintain the same velocity on the treadmill, which then translates to to skating efficiency. So they used less energy.
I'm always curious about adjustment periods as well. Like, if I'm going from a traditional skate holder, blade holder, to this, how much of an adjustment period would there be, or does it seem completely natural?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's a common question regarding the transition time. And since hockey players are very keen to stick what they are used to. But pretty much all players, I would say, are really fascinated of how quickly they adapt. I mean, it takes, I've heard, all the way from like a couple of minutes or a couple of strides even to 1 or 2 sessions maybe. So it's a really quick adaptation time. We've had a number of pro players switch even mid-season here, so which is of course really extraordinary.
That's rare.
Yeah,
that's rare.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really rare for someone to switch mid-season as well. I can understand the transitioning in the off season and trying new things. Well, the one thing that, and listen, you live in this world, so you know this, but just so our listeners and viewers have an understanding, where once upon a time, players would be fixated and fascinated with working on their sticks. Like, you'd see the blow torches and shaving down blades and things like this at the rink. There was always players working on their sticks. And now it seems more than ever, since, sticks would all come factory made into the players' specifics. I mean, all you're going to do is get some, shaft shaving because, they kind of come a little bit sticky and guys want to shave them down. Now more so than ever, players are more particular about their skates, and they're particular about the boots and the blade holders and the blade themselves. I mean, they'll be shuttling, 20, 30 pairs of blades back home for their very specific sharpening to have those, then shuttled back to them. Like, this has become the most important thing for a hockey player, and it's the area that they obsess about the most. in your conversations with hockey players, what are they looking for in their blade holder technology? What are they looking for in their skates in general? What do you find hockey players most interested in right now?
Well, it's a good point. I mean, just looking back a couple of years, it's been a very strong increase in interest in this area of being in the forefront, especially the younger generation, always looking for the things to improve. And yeah, it's for us, it's of course a great timing now to come in and with our technology. And I mean, they're always looking to become faster and more efficient and improve in all areas of skating. And even, of course, the smallest advantage is huge for these players, because improving a couple of percent in training is really it's a lot of training. So if your equipment can help you improve, like we saw in the study, even like 5 to 7% is, I mean, that's huge, of course, for these guys. So
for a player, that's enormous. You know, I do wonder, you know, in the off season when players, you know, try different stick patterns or try different skates or gloves or anything, do you find now that players now understand how, to your point, that extra 4, 5, 6, whatever 7% can mean, you know, the difference between, you know, 20 goals and 30 goals, or, you know, 5 million and 7 million on a contract, that players now are more willing to at least try something new in the offseason? Like, I'll be honest with you, when you said that players have, you know, switched mid-season, that kind of stuns me, because I know how players get locked in and they worry so much about their performance. But do you find that players now more in the offseason are willing, you know, to call you up and say, hey, Perry, can you send me the blade holder? I want to try it here for a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we see, I mean, a strong, quick adaptation and quick, the interest has grown a lot. I mean, even just looking back the last year, I mean, like in general, most guys don't want to be the first one out with something new. But now when they start to see that other players, top players, teammates, opponents, all over are starting to use the holders, now it's starting to get a quick acceptance in the market and in the players' locker room. And so if you see your teammate, the first guy on the team wearing them and loving them, and then all of a sudden there's another guy, and then there's quickly like, oh, I have to try them as well. So it's like that. It's of course the best marketing to see, to have the players starting to spread the word amongst the players like that. And even though the most guys don't want to be first one out, it's always hard to get the first guys, but then you don't want to get left behind either. So it's it's a great when the word starts.
The first player pair, and with Per Mars, founder of Marsblade, we're talking about skate holder technology with Marsblade. The first player that I noticed was Michael Backlund. Was he the first? And then, you know, I can't help notice, you know, watch London Knights, and here's the Flyers first rounder bonk. I'm like, oh, hang on a second, there's Marsblade there too with the skate holder. Was Michael Backlund the first one? As you mentioned, nobody wants to be the first. Was Backlund the first? And if he wasn't, he was the first one that I noticed. But if he wasn't the first, who was?
Yeah, he was amongst the first of the NHL players. So he's been on them for, it's his third season, I think. Or second. But so it was a couple of guys the first year, like him, Nyquist, and no, sorry, he was one of the first on our last generation. Niklas Kronwall was the first, utilizing our first generation. So can't forget him. He was the first, but that was on the previous generation.
You know, that leads to sort of another question. Maybe it's a dumb one, because listen, there are plenty of, like, Brandon Carlo uses it, and Michael Backlund, one's a defenseman, one's a forward. Does it make any difference what position the person plays? Like, is there something specific for defensemen that's different from something for forwards, for example?
No, that's a good question, and something that we get asked a lot. Like if there's a particular type of player that benefits from it the most, but no, it helps every player, regardless of position or even the level you're at. It helps everyone to improve as a skater, and that's the beauty of it. Just like the carving ski that we relate to our technology doing, like a technology shift, so it becomes a new standard,
Right.
like the carving ski in alpine skiing helps everyone to ski better and makes it more fun, and our technology does the same for everyone that skates, so it doesn't matter.
This has been great. Per, thanks so much for taking some time for me today. Marsblade.com is the website if you want to learn more about the 12 specifically and everything that Marsblade has to offer. The great Per Mars, one of the most innovative people in the hockey technology industry, parking some time for us today. Per, thanks as always for stopping by. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me.